Make sure the suit's ready.
Tell me I don't make your old gear look brand new.
Who's saying that? Everybody.
Julius, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you, Liam.
So we obviously know this film, like all Marvel films, went through some reshoots, but what I found so fascinating with these reshoots is you added Giancarlo Esposito in the reshoots. What did having that presence, that veteran actor on set for, the reshoots do for this film?
It's incredibly exciting, All these movies have additional photography planned from the very beginning, and when you're bringing Serpent Society to the screen for the first time, you're trying to find how do you make sure these characters live in this tone. This is a grounded, paranoid, and political thriller, and you want everything to feel authentic and have a sense of realism to it. So when we were going into our additional photography process, knowing that Giancarlo was available, it's like, hell yeah. And he also has a very special history for me. My career got started because of Spike Lee. I interned for him when I was 19 years old. Giancarlo has worked on some seminal Spike Lee films, especially Do the Right Thing. So the opportunity to get to work with somebody who was a real hero of mine and connected to my personal history was so, so exciting. He was connected to Mackie as well. So he came in and he was helping us cement Serpent Society and Sidewinder as this real cunning, ruthless, intelligent villain that really fit in the tone of the film, and it's going to be a real benefit to the audience when they go on the wild ride of this paranoid thriller.
Yeah, I remember where I was when Captain America Serpent Society was announced. I remember watching that slate reveal and being like, oh, we're getting Civil War, but I still want to see Serpent Society one day, and here we are. I know there were some set photos from early on. I'm a big wrestling fan. Seth Rollins was once a part of this film, and it seemed like he was going to be a key piece of Serpent Society. Did the concept behind what Serpent Society would become change a lot over the course of production?
As I said, when you're making a film like this, especially trying to honor the source in publishing, Serpent Society were a bunch of characters who dressed up in snakes, and they had snake outfits, and they had snake-adjacent powers. So you're exploring, you're trying things, and when you're really trying to make sure that that tone is coherent and consistent, and that was so important to me. I'm coming from a real love of paranoid and political thrillers, but also making grounded films. When we went back to this pre-planned additional photography process, and we just did one sort of moment of that, we wanted to make sure that everything really came together perfectly. And again, Giancarlo was just such a no-brainer to bring Sidewinder to life and lean into a version of Serpent Society that felt grounded, that was this mercenary group that was similar to the ones you'd see in the real world, and that could be this real adversary to our grounded hero of Sam Wilson.
Very much so. I want to talk about Thaddeus Ross a little bit here, a character we've seen since the dawn of the MCU back in 2008, originally obviously played by William Hurt. I love how the MCU feels like an extension of our reality. Yep. So I love when we get to have presidents set in the MCU. We had Matthew Ellis, a fictional president in Iron Man 3. We had Ritson in Secret Invasion. Thaddeus Ross, when we start this film, is already president. Did you kind of have a concept of what his campaign, what his inauguration looked like going into this film?
It's something that we thought about a great deal, and it was really exciting to think about. I grew up in D.C., in the D.C., Virginia area, so it's something that's always been in my orbit, and something I've thought about a lot. And what was great about it, too, was its character. It's about the emotional journey. And the Ross that we've known in the past was Thaddeus Ross, first as a general and then as Secretary of State. He had this temper. He had a real sort of rage to him as well. He hunted Hulks. He became estranged from his daughter, Betty. So this story, this president, was about bringing people together. He's trying to rewrite his legacy. He's an elder statesman. He's a diplomat. He wants to use adamantium as a way to better the lives of people all over the world. So that's what his campaign was about. He ran on this theme of togetherness. And what I loved about it is on a macro level, I want to make the world better. But on a micro level, I want to reconnect to my daughter. And it was about proving to Betty that he turned a new leaf.
I love that, and I'm glad you brought up adamantium. It's been a long time coming to see this element brought into the MCU. I know initially Tiamat in Eternals, it was not necessarily the vehicle we were going to use. It kind of came together along the process. Everyone's going to compare adamantium and vibranium. Can you tell us some of the key differences between the two?
Adamantium is much more durable. Adamantium is not like vibranium, which can absorb kinetic energy. Adamantium, as we know, will eventually be a part of Project X. It will eventually be a part of the story of Wolverine. So adamantium in Tiamat now becomes this resource that could change the world in a way that's very different, because vibranium is something that is really under the purview of the Wakandans. So this is why it becomes an amazing geopolitical football in our film, but also what's so great about the MCU is is an opportunity to take things that are iconic from publishing and find a way to reimagine them for this universe in a way that could be really exciting. And because we haven't had mutants in the past, because we haven't had adamantium, it became such a fun way to surprise audiences with a new sort of vision of what it could be. And I'm just still pinching myself that I get to have the movie that introduces Red Hulk, that introduces adamantium, that introduces Serpent Society. It, is fun for me as a geek, and I think it's going to be a blast for all audiences when they go see this movie.
Yeah, let's pull on that Red Hulk thread a bit here. People are so excited to see not just that character, but a rageful Hulk, because we haven't seen a rageful Hulk since the opening scene of Infinity War, which was 7 years ago. Do you feel like your interpretation of Red Hulk kind of raises the bar for how Hulks will be portrayed in the MCU going forward?
Absolutely. What's so great about the Hulk and the creation of this character from publishing is he's this expression of id, right? Pure, unadulterated rage. And I say it's relatable because we've all had those moments where we just want to get angry and we hold it in. Well, Hulk gets to let it out. And because it's part of Ross's emotional journey in this film, not only was it something that was meaningful, but it's also something that then still is fun and action driven. So you're getting two levels of it. The escapism of it, but it's still something that is emotional and character driven and part of the theme of this film. So Red Hulk is very special in this film. And we get to lean into what's unique about him, his heat. We get to see the heat waves around him. We get to see flames. I don't want to spoil too much, but it is so exciting, and I'm still pinching myself that I got to do this, and especially with Harrison Ford bringing Red Hulk to life. It's a real treat.
Yeah, all the TV spots they filmed for IMAX, and I feel like it's Red Hulk in particular that was filmed for IMAX. I'll wrap with this, Julius. It feels like, I just talked with Anthony. He said he wants to play Captain America for another 10 years, and those 10 years start on February 14th. It's clear that character can't just, hop to Avengers, hop to a Falcon Winter Soldier Season 2. The character's made for the big screen.
Yeah.
When Captain America 5, 6, 7, whatever come around, is that a property that you want to continue with?
Look, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to make this. I would definitely welcome that. Right now, my heart and soul, my focus is in getting this movie out in the world. I love the fact that this is the first event movie of 2025 that people across the world can experience at one time. Movies for me are about community, and that's why that theme of empathy was so important. And I'm just so happy and so proud of Anthony and this entire cast. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most right now.
Amazing. Do you have any ideas? Are you kicking around ideas? You don't have to tell me, but have you started to conceptualize a little more Serpent Society, a little more Red Hulk?
What's great about Captain America is that he's a global figure, and I think there's some really, this is already a geopolitical story that has global implications, and I think there's more great global storytelling to be told, putting Sam Wilson out there in the world.
Amazing. I'm excited to see this one in full.
Thank
Julius,
you, Liam.
thank you so much for your time.
You rock. This is awesome.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
But I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position. Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.